Hey guys, it's just the Nerdy Movie Guy. So today we're going to unpack the events that happened in Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 7. Now, for this episode, there is a lot going on, and a lot of different characters are experiencing different stories, different character development. So there's really a lot going on at once, but I think all of that made for a action-packed episode. One of maybe the most action-packed episode of the season, one of for the series. So it's really cool to see. And immediately, as Clone Wars fans, we are immediately drawn to Commander Wolffe, and we are now interested in his story to see what is going on. Now, here's the interesting thing. In Star Wars Rebels, when Gregor, Wolffe, and Rex, it's been a long time since I've seen Rebels, so you guys can correct me, but I know they mentioned removing their chips. They said they didn't betray their generals. So, you have to remember, when Rebels was made, when the clones were introduced, these three clone characters introduced in Rebels, Star Wars had not had their Season 7 yet. So the whole Order 66 arc wasn't a part of Clone Wars as canon at that moment in time. And so there was a moment in time where they removed their chips. And now it's a little blurry because it's unspecified if Wolffe would have removed his or not and still joined the Empire or not, knowing what happened. This was why Fives was given this arc, is to sort of warn Rex. And that played a direct part into Clone Wars' final arc, where Ahsoka is sort of discovering what's going on and is able to help Rex, have that chip removed so he's not forced into duel to the death with Ahsoka. So we have no idea where Wolffe was during this time. We know that since Wolffe was created for the Clone Wars, he would not have been on the same planet with Plo Koon when he perished during Order 66. So there's a lot of mystery around Wolffe because we don't know if he did remove his chip. Maybe he thought he did. Remember in Rebels, he also pulled out his blaster and started just firing at Kanan when he saw Kanan for the first time, as if he's still having the effects of Order 66, even though at that point he supposedly had it removed. So there's just a lot of mystery with this character. We don't know what's going on. All we know is he is willingly working for the Empire. He doesn't seem to be mind-controlled or conditioned or anything at this point, because he still has his loyalty to his clones. And he doesn't really seem to have much respect for the clone operative. I think we get to see a glimpse of Wolffe understanding the corruption of the Empire. He's just not realizing the gravity of its situation yet. So I hope we will see that very soon. But this is the glimpse we get into Wolffe's backstory, or at least his happenings between Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. So in this episode, obviously, our main crew are trying to escape. They're trying to leave the planet. And of course, the Empire, which is including clone troopers now, are on the full front attack against them, trying to prevent their escape. So in this attempt, the crew is faced into sort of the woods on this world. And we get multiple different standoffs with Crosshair, with the clone operative. We had one in the temple, we have another out in the forest, while he's still with the crew, and then he gets a 1v1 with the clone operative toward the end of the episode in this climactic battle that looked like it was gonna be the end of one character or the other. So, as fans of Crosshair, we were extremely nervous this whole episode because I got the sense of dread that they may kill off Crosshair in this episode. And so I was just worried the whole time. It kept me on the edge of my seat. Felt like there were stakes. It was intense. Just everything really worked into building this episode as being not only an action-packed one, but a memorable one. So there's a lot of good pieces to this episode revolving everything around Crosshair. Because while the crew are trying to escape, Rex has now lost a lot of his men, and he essentially loses pretty much the rest of them by the end of this episode. Except for Captain Hauser. Captain Hauser is still around toward its climactic ending, and Hauser has at this point finally laid off on Crosshair. He's finally sort of understanding the situation, and he's seeing that Crosshair has changed. And with Crosshair, we also get to see him just being the protective one of Omega. And we've seen this plenty of times with Wrecker and plenty of times with Hunter, but to see it so frequent with Crosshair, they're just all... It really is a brotherly bond between these three clones and Omega. And it's really cool to see because that proves their character development, and there is character growth because Crosshair would not have been this way while he remained loyal to the Empire. And I think that's the whole thing about Crosshair's character is, in the Season 1 finale, Hunter's whole pitch to Crosshair was if he were to remove his chip, he wouldn't be loyal to the Empire, but he was. He already had it removed, and he was still loyal. So instead of the switch, Crosshair being saved by the crew, being a victim of the Empire, he somehow still was, but he got to have his redemption all on his own without an easy way out for the story. And I think that's just why Crosshair is becoming so many of our favorites, is he really has, maybe not more in Omega, but he and Omega are the two with the most character growth on this show, just as a series as a whole. So in the series, or in this episode, as I mentioned, this climactic ending, we get this 1v1 with Crosshair and the Clone Operative. And unfortunately, this Clone Operative still has not revealed its identity yet. We still don't know who it is. And we sort of get these Black Panther vibes almost with this duel on the edge of a waterfall without weapons. It's just sort of a fist fight at this point. And it's really cool to see because visually it looked like a really great fight. They had a really neat location that they fully chose for this. So overall, it was stunning to watch. And although Crosshair does beat the Clone Operative is seen to have survived. So he will be back, whoever it is. And I do look forward to finding out who it is, because I think the fact that this is not some random operative, because they've made such a point not to show this one's face, I think it will be a known character. There are rumors saying it could be Commander Cody. There's a lot of rumors saying it could be Tech. So there are some Clone Wars fans who believe maybe this could be Fives. I don't know who he's going to be. It could be a completely new character. I am hearing theories that maybe because Crosshair was already a genetically enhanced clone trooper, that when they were taking his blood, they were giving his genetically enhanced sniper skills to Clone Operatives. So this may be a random clone, but it could be sort of by Crosshair's design unwillingly. So that's a really neat theory, I think, that could be the identity for the Clone Operative. So in our final shots for this episode, Wolf finally comes face to face with Captain Rex, and he's now realizing Captain Rex is indeed alive. And they sort of get to share words, and Rex almost convinces Wolf to stand down. He doesn't stand down from his position as an Imperial, but he does back off. He lets them leave, Rex and the rest of the crew. And so Wolf's loyalties are now shaky in terms of him being loyal to the Empire. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I hope he's not cast aside or thrown in some cell on Tantus. I wouldn't be surprised, but we'll have to wait and see. We know last time we heard of Commander Cody, they said, I believe it was either Tarkin or Rampart, or it could be some character I just don't even remember, mentioning that he was a deserter. So he did abandon the Empire. But we don't know where Cody is because we haven't seen him with Rex now. He could still show up for maybe the finale when inevitably our core characters all around do go back to Tantus. So regardless, I think Cody could still show up. I think Wolf might definitely show up again, which could be really, really cool because it would be interesting to see these Clone Wars clones meeting up again with Rex and Cody and Wolf all on the same side. So that could be really, really neat to see. Either way, I'm hoping that there's a big climactic ending for the finale because everything is just building up, the intensity and the pressure. This episode did the same. As I've said for each review for these episodes, this was another 10 out of 10 for me. It was exciting, it was exhilarating, it was intense. I was very cautious. I was very worried for Crosshair. But all in all, it was just an exciting episode to watch from start to finish. It's been that way for a lot of these episodes, most of these episodes. So I can't wait to see where the next one takes us. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Keep it digging, everyone.